The discovery of the new signal marked a turning point for humanity. For so long, the stars had seemed cold and indifferent, home to dangers like the Voidborn that threatened Earth's existence. But now, this message offered something different, a chance for connection, understanding, and perhaps even friendship. Alex and his team worked tirelessly to decode the transmission. It was slow going at first. The language was unlike anything they'd encountered before, but Emily's methods still guided them. Her notes on alien linguistics became invaluable, a bittersweet reminder of her brilliance. With each breakthrough, Alex felt a flicker of pride knowing she had paved the way for this moment. "We're close," Ryan announced one evening, his eyes lighting up as he pieced together fragments of the message. "It's not just a greeting. They're inviting us to meet them." "Meet them," Sam repeated, raising an eyebrow. "Where?" Ryan pointed to a star map displayed on the screen. "Here, a planet orbiting a distant star in the Andromeda Galaxy. They call it Lumina." Alex studied the coordinates carefully. The journey would be long and risky, but the opportunity was too important to ignore. "This could change everything," he said finally. "If we can build alliances with other civilizations, we won't have to face the unknown alone anymore." Preparations began immediately. The Odyssey was refitted with upgraded technology, including communication systems designed to interact with alien species. Supplies were stocked, and a hand-picked crew volunteered for the mission. Among them were Alex, Ryan, and Sam, all determined to honor Emily's legacy by taking humanity's next step into the cosmos. As the ship launched into space, millions watched from Earth. The mission wasn't just about exploration, it was about hope. People gathered in cities and towns, cheering as the Odyssey disappeared into the sky. Monuments dedicated to Emily glowed softly under spotlights, a silent tribute to the woman who had made this moment possible. Weeks passed as the Odyssey traveled across the galaxy. Along the way, the crew reflected on how far they'd come since the battle with the Voidborn. They had faced unimaginable horrors, but they had also found strength in unity and courage in sacrifice. Emily's memory inspired them daily, reminding them why they kept moving forward. Finally, they arrived at Lumina. From afar, the planet looked breathtaking. Its surface shimmered with hues of blue and gold, dotted with sprawling cities that blended seamlessly with nature. As the Odyssey entered orbit, a fleet of sleek ships approached, their designs elegant and peaceful. A voice crackled over the comms, warm and welcoming. "Welcome, travelers. We have awaited your arrival." Alex took a deep breath before responding. "Thank you for reaching out to us. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." The aliens introduced themselves as the Luminary, a highly advanced civilization that valued harmony and cooperation. Over the following days, the two groups exchanged ideas, shared stories, and forged bonds. The Luminary admired humanity's resilience, while Alex and his crew marveled at the aliens' wisdom and kindness. One evening, as Alex stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, he gazed at Lumina's glowing surface. Ryan joined him, holding a cup of coffee. "Do you think Emily would be proud?" Ryan asked quietly. Alex smiled, his eyes softening. "I know she would," he replied. "She believed we weren't alone. She gave us the chance to prove her right." Back on Earth, news of the Alliance spread quickly, sparking celebrations worldwide. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as partners. The Interstellar Defense Initiative expanded, working alongside the Luminary to protect both their worlds from future threats. Though challenges lay ahead, Alex knew humanity was ready. Thanks to Emily's sacrifice, they had learned the value of courage, unity, and hope. Her words echoed in his mind. "We are stronger together." And as the Odyssey sailed onward, carrying the dreams of billions, Alex felt certain of one thing. Humanity's story was just beginning. Months passed since the battle with the Voidborn, and life on Earth began to return to normal. The fear that had gripped humanity during those tense days faded into memory, replaced by a renewed sense of hope and unity. People went about their daily routines. Children played in parks. Farmers tended to fields, and cities buzzed with activity. But for Alex Carter and his crew, the scars of their mission remained fresh. Alex threw himself into his work, helping establish what would become known as the Interstellar Defense Initiative, IDI. It was an ambitious program designed to protect Earth from future threats beyond the stars. With funding from governments around the world, the IDI built new ships, developed advanced weapons, and trained pilots and soldiers to face whatever might come next. Alex led the effort, driven by a promise he had made to Emily. Never again would humanity be caught unprepared. Ryan Mitchell also joined the initiative, dedicating himself to studying alien technology and biology. He believed understanding other species was key to avoiding conflict in the future. In a lab filled with holographic projections and strange artifacts recovered from missions, Ryan worked tirelessly, often losing track of time. His mind kept returning to the Nexus core and Emily's sacrifice. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was still so much they didn't know about the universe, and that ignorance could cost them dearly someday. Sam Brooks took a different path. After months of space travel and combat, he decided to stay grounded, training new recruits for the IDI. Though he missed the thrill of exploration, he found purpose in teaching others how to survive in the vast unknown. His tough exterior softened over time, especially when talking about Emily. She wasn't just brave, he'd tell the recruits. She was smart, kind, and willing to do what no one else could. That's the kind of person you should strive to be. Back on Earth, monuments were erected in Emily's honor. One stood in the heart of New York City, a statue of her holding the glowing sphere of the Nexus core. Below it were inscribed her final words. "We are not alone. We are stronger together." People visited the memorial every day, leaving flowers and notes of gratitude. Schools taught her story, inspiring generations to come. Despite the progress, questions lingered. What had truly happened to the aliens who sent the warning? Were there more Voidborn out there, waiting to strike? And what other dangers lurked in the depths of space? These uncertainties weighed heavily on Alex and his team, but they refused to let fear paralyze them. Instead, they used it as fuel to push forward. One evening, Alex stood on the observation deck of the Odyssey *, which now served as the flagship of the IDI fleet. The stars twinkled brightly against the blackness of space, reminding him of the infinite possibilities and risks that lay ahead. Ryan joined him, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "You've been quiet lately," Ryan said, handing 1 cup to Alex. Alex sighed, taking a sip before responding. "I can't stop thinking about what's out there," he admitted. "The Voidborn were bad enough, but they weren't the only ones. There's so much we don't understand." Ryan nodded. "That's why we keep going," he said. "Every discovery brings us closer to being ready. Emily showed us that." Alex smiled faintly. "Yeah, she did." As they gazed at the stars, a sudden alert interrupted the quiet. A young officer rushed onto the deck, holding a tablet. "Commander, we've picked up something unusual," she said breathlessly. "A signal. It's coming from deep space." Alex exchanged a glance with Ryan. "Let's see it," he said, following the officer to the control room. On the screen was a faint transmission, barely decipherable. It wasn't hostile or urgent. It was a greeting. For the first time, humanity had received a message not of warning, but of friendship. "Whoever sent this wants to talk," Ryan said, excitement creeping into his voice. Alex felt a surge of hope. Maybe the universe wasn't just full of danger. Maybe, just maybe, humanity could find allies among the stars. "Send a reply," he ordered. "Tell them we're listening." And so, the journey continued, not as victims of the cosmos, but as explorers reaching out to the unknown. Thanks to Emily's sacrifice, humanity had taken its first step toward a brighter future. The journey back to Earth was quiet, almost painfully so. The Odyssey sailed through the vast emptiness of space, its crew lost in their thoughts. Emily's sacrifice weighed heavily on all of them, but no one felt it more than Alex. He spent most of his time standing on the observation deck, staring out at the stars. Each one seemed to remind him of her, the way she had worked tirelessly to decode the alien message, the bravery she showed when facing the unknown, and the ultimate price she paid to save humanity. Sam tried to keep busy, checking the ship's systems and running maintenance checks that weren't really needed, but even he couldn't distract himself forever. Sometimes he'd stop what he was doing and just sit quietly, his mind replaying the moment Emily stepped into the Nexus core. Her determination, her courage, it haunted him. She hadn't hesitated, not for a second. And now, because of her, Earth was safe. Ryan spent hours in the lab, studying the data they had collected from the Nexus core and the Voidborn. He wanted to understand everything he could about the artifact and the enemy they had faced. It wasn't just curiosity, it was respect. If Emily had given her life to activate the core, the least he could do was honor her by learning from it. But no matter how much he analyzed or theorized, one truth remained clear: without Emily, none of them would be alive. As the Odyssey approached Earth, the crew prepared for what came next. News of their victory would spread quickly, and people would celebrate the end of the threat. But Alex knew the story wouldn't be complete without telling the world about Emily. She deserved to be remembered, not as a nameless hero, but as the brave woman who had saved billions. When the ship finally entered Earth's orbit, the sight below took their breath away. The planet was as vibrant and beautiful as ever, its blue oceans and green lands glowing under the sunlight. Cities stretched across continents, bustling with life. People went about their days, unaware of how close they had come to destruction and how much they owed to one person. Alex called a meeting with the crew before they landed. "We did our job," he began, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. "But we didn't do it alone. Emily gave everything to make this possible. When we step off this ship, we need to make sure everyone knows what she did." Sam nodded. "She deserves that," he said firmly. "And more." Ryan added, "Her sacrifice should inspire us, all of us, to be better, to work together, to protect each other, and to never take our lives for granted." After landing, the crew was greeted by cheering crowds and reporters eager to hear their story. Alex stood at the front, addressing the gathered crowd. His words were simple but powerful. "Today, we celebrate survival," he said. "But we also remember those who made it possible. Lieutenant Emily Dawson gave her life to save ours. She was smart, brave, and selfless. We owe her everything." The crowd fell silent, reflecting on his words. Tears filled some eyes, while others clenched their fists in determination. Emily's story spread quickly, becoming a symbol of hope and unity. Memorials were built in her honor, and her name became synonymous with courage. In the weeks that followed, Alex and his crew helped establish new programs aimed at protecting Earth from future threats. They worked with scientists and leaders to develop better technology and strategies, ensuring humanity would never again be caught unprepared. But for Alex, the mission was personal. He carried Emily's memory with him everywhere, letting it guide his decisions and actions. She had shown him that leadership meant putting others first, even at great cost. And though the pain of losing her never fully faded, he found comfort in knowing her legacy would live on. Earth was safe, for now. But Alex knew the universe was vast and full of mysteries. There would always be challenges ahead, dangers lurking in the dark corners of space. Yet, thanks to Emily, humanity had been given a second chance. And this time, they would be ready. The Nexus core pulsed with energy, its power spreading outward like ripples in a pond. Emily's sacrifice had awakened something ancient and immense, a force capable of reshaping reality itself. The crew stood in stunned silence, watching as the glowing sphere at the center of the chamber grew brighter. It hummed softly, almost soothingly, but there was no mistaking the raw power contained within. Outside, the Voidborn fleet advanced relentlessly, their dark forms blotting out the stars. They were close now, too close. Alex clenched his fists, forcing himself to focus. "We've got to get back to the ship," he said sharply. "If the core is ready, we need to be too." The team hurried back to the shuttle, their movements quick but careful. None of them spoke. The weight of what had just happened hung heavy in the air. Emily's absence was palpable, her quiet determination and sharp mind missing from their group. But they didn't have time to grieve. Not yet. As they boarded the Odyssey *, the ship's sensors detected a massive surge of energy emanating from the Nexus core. It was building, growing stronger with each passing second. Ryan monitored the readings closely, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Whatever Emily did, it's working," he said finally. "The core is charging up." "But can it stop the Voidborn?" Sam asked, gripping the edge of his console. His voice was tight, betraying the fear he refused to show on his face. "It has to," Alex replied firmly. He turned to the navigation panel, plotting a course that would keep the Odyssey out of the core's range, while still allowing them to monitor its effects. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We don't know how big this blast will be." Moments later, the Nexus core unleashed its power. A wave of light erupted from the artifact, spreading across space faster than anything they had ever seen. It engulfed the Voidborn fleet, tearing through their ranks with devastating precision. Ships disintegrated instantly, reduced to nothing more than dust. The once mighty swarm faltered, its numbers dwindling rapidly. On the bridge of the Odyssey *, the crew watched in awe as the tide of battle shifted dramatically. The core's energy seemed unstoppable, obliterating everything in its path. But it came at a cost. Each pulse of light drained more of Emily's essence, leaving behind only faint echoes of her presence guiding the weapon. "She's still in there," Alex whispered, staring at the glowing orb on the monitor. "She's fighting with us." Ryan nodded, his eyes glistening. "She gave everything for this," he said quietly. "We can't let her down." The Voidborn fought back desperately, launching waves of shadowy tendrils toward the core. For a moment, it looked like they might overwhelm it. But the Nexus core responded with an even greater burst of energy, shattering the attack and pushing the remaining ships back. One by one, the monstrous fleet was erased from existence. Finally, after what felt like hours, the last of the Voidborn disappeared. Space fell silent once again, the darkness broken only by the soft glow of distant stars. The crew exhaled collectively, their bodies sagging with relief. They had won, but the victory felt hollow without Emily. Alex stepped away from the controls and moved to the viewport, staring out at the emptiness where the Voidborn had been. "It's over," he said softly. "Earth is safe." Sam joined him, resting a hand on his shoulder. "Because of her," he added, "we owe her everything." Ryan nodded, his voice thick with emotion. "And we'll never forget her." As the Odyssey * began its journey back to Earth, the Nexus core self-destructed, collapsing into a brilliant flash of light. Its job was done, and so was Emily's. Her final gift to humanity was peace, a fragile, hard-earned peace that would forever bear the mark of her courage. Alex closed his eyes, whispering a silent goodbye. Emily Dawson had given her life to save billions, and though she was gone, her legacy would live on in every star they passed, every breath they took. She had shown them that even in the darkest moments, hope could shine through. If someone was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. Inside the Nexus core, the air felt heavy, charged with an energy that made the crew's skin prickle. The glowing walls pulsed rhythmically, as if the artifact itself were alive and breathing. Emily stepped closer to the center of the chamber, her eyes fixed on a swirling sphere of light suspended in midair. It was mesmerizing, beautiful, and terrifying. "What is that thing?" Sam asked, his voice low. He gripped his weapon tightly, though he knew it wouldn't do much good against something like this. "It's the heart of the Nexus core," Emily replied without taking her eyes off it. "It's alive, or at least it feels that way." Alex moved to stand beside her. "Can you activate it? Can it stop the Voidborn?" Emily hesitated. She had spent hours studying the alien symbols and patterns on the core's surface, but nothing could have prepared her for what she saw now. The sphere seemed to hum with intelligence, as if it were waiting for her to make a decision. She reached out tentatively, her hand hovering just above its surface. "I think so," she said softly. "But it's not just a machine. It's something more. To use it, someone has to merge with it." "Merge with it," Ryan repeated, his voice sharp with alarm. "What does that mean?" Emily swallowed hard. "It means becoming part of it. Giving yourself to the core completely. Your mind, your consciousness, it all becomes part of its power." The room fell silent. Everyone understood what she was saying. Activating the Nexus core would require a sacrifice. Someone would have to give up their life, or at least their individuality, to save humanity. Ryan stepped forward. "Then I'll do it," he said firmly. "I'm a scientist. This is my field. If anyone should take the risk, it's me." "No," Alex said immediately, shaking his head. "You're needed here. You've got the knowledge we need to get through this. If anyone's going to do it, it should be me. That's my job as the leader." Sam crossed his arms, glaring at both of them. "Stop arguing," he snapped. "Neither of you is doing it. We don't even know what happens after you merge with it. What if it doesn't work? What if it makes things worse?" Emily listened to their arguments, her heart pounding. She knew they were right to be cautious, but time was running out. The Voidborn were still out there, getting closer with every passing second. And deep down, she knew the choice had already been made for her. "I'll do it," she said suddenly, her voice firm despite the fear gripping her chest. Everyone turned to look at her, shocked. "No," Alex said sharply. "Absolutely not. You're too important to this mission." "I started this," Emily insisted, stepping closer to the glowing sphere. "I decoded the message. I found the core. This is my responsibility." Her hands trembled, but her resolve didn't waver. "If anyone should pay the price, it's me." For a moment, no one spoke. Then Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Emily, are you sure about this?" he asked gently. "There's no turning back once you do it." She nodded, tears welling up in her eyes but refusing to fall. "I'm sure," she whispered. "This is the only way." Alex opened his mouth to protest again, but he stopped himself. He could see the determination in her eyes, and he knew she wouldn't change her mind. All he could do was trust her. "All right," he said finally, his voice thick with emotion. "We'll do it your way, but we're staying with you until the end." Emily smiled faintly, grateful for his support. She turned back to the sphere and placed her hands on its surface. A surge of warmth spread through her body, and the light grew brighter, enveloping her in its glow. Images flooded her mind, stars being born, galaxies colliding, civilizations rising and falling. She felt the weight of the universe pressing down on her, but also its infinite possibilities. "You can do it, Emily," Alex said softly. "We believe in you." With one final breath, she let go of everything, her fears, her doubts, her identity, and allowed the Nexus core to pull her in. The light exploded outward, filling the entire chamber. When it faded, Emily was gone, her presence replaced by a calm, steady hum. "She did it," Ryan whispered, staring at the glowing sphere. "She really did it." Alex clenched his fists, fighting back tears. "Let's make sure her sacrifice wasn't in vain," he said, his voice steady. "We've got a planet to save." Outside, the Voidborn fleet loomed closer, unaware of the power they were about to face. The Nexus core stirred, its energy rippling across space like a wave. The battle was far from over, but thanks to Emily, Humanity had a fighting chance. The Odyssey sailed through the vast emptiness of space, its crew tense but focused. They were close now, closer than ever, to the Nexus core. The artifact was their last hope, the only thing that might stand between humanity and the Voidborn. But as the ship approached the coordinates, a strange sight greeted them. Floating in the void was a massive structure unlike anything they had seen before. It looked like a mix of machine and organism, glowing faintly with an inner light. Its surface shifted and pulsed, as if it were breathing. This was the Nexus core, the key to stopping the Voidborn, or so they hoped. "This is it," Alex said, his voice steady despite the knot of tension in his stomach. "Prepare for landing." The team suited up and boarded a smaller shuttle to approach the core. As they drew closer, the structure seemed to grow even larger, towering over them like a mountain. Strange symbols covered its surface, glowing softly in patterns that shifted and changed. Emily stared at them, her mind racing to decipher their meaning. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. "And terrifying." The shuttle landed on a platform near the base of the core. When the crew stepped out, they felt a strange energy in the air, almost like static electricity. It made their skin tingle and their hair stand on end. The ground beneath their feet wasn't solid. It felt soft, as if the core itself were alive. "Stay alert," Alex ordered. "We don't know what we're dealing with here." As they moved closer to the core, they noticed movement nearby. At first, it was just shadows flickering at the edge of their vision. Then, figures emerged from the darkness. They weren't human. They were machines, sleek and humanoid, with glowing eyes and sharp edges. These were Guardians, remnants of the alien civilization that had built the Nexus core. "They're not friendly," Sam muttered, raising his weapon. The machines turned toward the crew, their movements smooth and deliberate. One of them raised an arm, pointing directly at Alex. "They see us as a threat," Ryan said quickly. "They probably think we're here to steal a core." Emily stepped forward, holding up her hands. "Wait," she called out, her voice trembling but clear. "We're not here to harm it. We need its help. Earth is in danger." For a moment, nothing happened. The machines stood still, their glowing eyes fixed on the crew. Then, without warning, they attacked. Sam fired first, his weapon sending bursts of energy toward the nearest Guardian. The machine staggered but didn't fall. It retaliated with a blast of light that forced the crew to dive for cover. Alex shouted orders, directing everyone to spread out and return fire. The battle was chaotic and intense. The Guardians moved with unnatural speed, surrounding the crew and cutting off their escape routes. Emily stayed close to Alex, trying to avoid the chaos while searching for a way to communicate with the machines. She knew they couldn't win this fight, not against enemies that seemed nearly indestructible. "Alex, we can't keep this up," Sam yelled, dodging another attack. His weapon was running low on power, and sweat dripped down his face. "We need another plan." Alex nodded, scanning the area. His eyes landed on the core itself. "Emily, can you disable them?" he asked. "If we can shut them down, we can reach the core." "I'll try," she replied, her voice shaky but determined. She ran toward a control panel embedded in the ground, her fingers flying over the alien symbols. The Guardians noticed and turned their attention to her, closing in fast. "Cover her," Alex shouted. Sam and Ryan unleashed a barrage of fire, keeping the machines at bay while Emily worked. Her hands trembled as she entered commands, hoping she was doing the right thing. Finally, the panel lit up, and the Guardians froze mid-motion. "They're down," Ryan exclaimed, lowering his weapon. "Great work, Emily." But there was no time to celebrate. The Voidborn were still out there, and the longer they stayed, the greater the risk. The crew hurried toward the core, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. When they reached the entrance, a wave of energy washed over them. It felt warm, almost comforting, but also overwhelming. Inside, the core pulsed with light, filling the chamber with a soft glow. "This is it," Alex said, looking around. "This is where we make our stand." Emily stepped forward, her heart pounding. She could feel the core's power calling to her, whispering promises of salvation and sacrifice. The shuttle raced toward the Odyssey *, its engines roaring as the Voidborn closed in. The dark swarm loomed larger with every passing second, a relentless tide of destruction spreading across space. Inside the shuttle, the crew braced themselves for impact. Alex gripped the controls tightly, his knuckles white, while Sam kept one hand on his weapon and the other clutching the safety harness. "They're gaining on us," Ryan shouted, his eyes glued to the rear view monitor. The Voidborn moved like liquid shadow, twisting and flowing as if alive. Their presence was suffocating, even from a distance. Emily sat silently, her mind racing. She couldn't stop thinking about the Nexus core. If they could find it, maybe, just maybe, they'd have a chance to fight back. But getting there wouldn't be easy, not with the Voidborn hot on their trail. "Commander, we need to jump to hyperspace," Sam yelled. "We can't take them head-on." Alex nodded sharply. "Prepare the coordinates," he ordered. "We'll make a run for the Nexus core's location. It's our only shot." As soon as the shuttle docked with the Odyssey *, the crew scrambled aboard the main ship. Alarms blared throughout the vessel, warning of the approaching danger. The Voidborn were almost upon them now, their eerie shapes blotting out the stars. "Everyone, buckle in," Alex commanded over the intercom. "Engineering, divert all power to the engines. We're making the jump in 30 seconds." The Odyssey * shuddered as the Voidborn launched what looked like tendrils of energy at the ship. One struck the hull, causing sparks to fly in the corridors. The crew held on tight as the ship accelerated, pushing itself to its limits. 10 seconds to jump. Ryan called out from the navigation console. His fingers flew over the controls, setting the course for the Nexus core's coordinates. 5 seconds, Emily added, her voice trembling but determined. The Voidborn surged forward, surrounding the Odyssey * like predators closing in on prey. For a moment, it seemed impossible to escape. Then, with a flash of light, the ship leaped into hyperspace, leaving the monstrous swarm behind. For a few precious moments, the crew breathed a sigh of relief, but they knew the reprieve wouldn't last long. The Voidborn had shown they were faster and stronger than anything humanity had faced before. They would catch up eventually. "We've got a problem," Sam said, breaking the silence. He pointed to the ship's damage report displayed on a nearby screen. "That hit we took messed up our shields. If they catch us again, we won't survive another attack." Alex frowned. "How long will it take to repair?" "At least 12 hours, Sam replied. "Maybe more, depending on how bad the damage is." "We don't have 12 hours, Emily said quietly. Her gaze drifted to the star map showing their destination. "If the Voidborn are tracking us, they'll be here before then." Ryan leaned forward, studying the map. "There's an asteroid field along our route. We could use it to hide and buy some time." "It's risky," Alex said, "but it's better than sitting ducks. Set a course for the asteroid field. Let's hope we can lose them there." The Odyssey * dropped out of hyperspace near the edge of the asteroid field. The crew worked quickly, repairing the shields while navigating through the dense cluster of rocks. The asteroids were jagged and unpredictable, forcing the ship to weave carefully to avoid collisions. Behind them, the Voidborn reappeared, their dark forms slithering through space like smoke. They slowed down, seemingly confused by the maze of debris. For now, the Odyssey * had the advantage. "We're doing it," Emily whispered, watching the sensors. "They're falling behind." "Don't celebrate yet," Alex warned. "They're still out there, and they're learning." As the hours passed, the crew repaired the shields just enough to hold up against another attack. But the tension never eased. Every creak of the ship, every flicker of the lights, reminded them how close they were to disaster. Finally, they emerged from the asteroid field and set a new course for the Nexus core. The artifact was their last hope, a beacon of salvation in a sea of despair. Yet none of them could shake the feeling that reaching it would come at a terrible cost. "What happens when we get there?" Sam asked, voicing the question everyone was thinking. Alex didn't answer right away. He stared out the viewport at the endless expanse of stars. "We'll face whatever comes next," he said finally. "Together." And with that, the Odyssey sailed onward, carrying humanity's fragile hopes toward an uncertain future. The crew stood frozen, the weight of Emily's words sinking in. The aliens they had found weren't enemies. They were refugees, fleeing from something far worse. Whatever had destroyed their ship and killed its crew was now on a collision course with Earth. The thought made Alex's stomach churn. He clenched his fists, trying to stay calm for the sake of his team. "Emily," he said softly, kneeling beside her, "are you okay?" She nodded, though her hands still trembled. "I'm fine," she whispered. "But I saw things. Horrible things." She hesitated, then continued. "There's a fleet out there. A swarm. They're consuming everything in their path. Planets, ships, life itself. The aliens called them the Voidborn." "The Voidborn," Sam repeated, his voice sharp with disbelief. "That sounds like something out of a nightmare." "It might be," Ryan interjected, his face pale but focused. "But if it's real, we need to understand what we're dealing with. Emily, can you describe what you saw?" Emily closed her eyes, replaying the images in her mind. "They're not like anything we've ever seen. They don't have ships exactly. It's more like a living mass, spreading across space. Wherever they go, they leave only emptiness behind. And they're fast. Faster than anything we've got." Alex stood up, his jaw tight. "If they're as dangerous as they seem, we need to get back to the Odyssey and warn Earth immediately. But first, we search this ship for anything that might help us fight back." The team split up to cover more ground. Sam stayed close to Alex, his weapon ready just in case they encountered any surprises. Ryan examined the alien technology, hoping to find clues about how it worked. Emily lingered near the device that had shown her the visions, studying it carefully. She couldn't shake the feeling that it held more secrets. As they explored deeper into the alien craft, they discovered a central chamber. It was larger than the others, filled with glowing panels and strange machinery. In the middle of the room stood a tall, cylindrical object covered in intricate patterns. It hummed faintly, as if alive. "What is that?" Sam asked, his voice low. "I think it's some kind of database," Ryan guessed. "Maybe it contains information about the Voidborn, or even how to stop them." Emily stepped forward cautiously. "Let me try to access it," she said. Using her knowledge of the alien symbols, she began interacting with the controls. Slowly, the cylinder lit up, projecting holograms into the air. The images showed star maps, battles, and schematics of weapons. One image caught everyone's attention. A massive structure labeled as the Nexus core. "That must be important," Alex said, pointing at the hologram. "What does it do?" Emily studied the text accompanying the image. It's hard to translate fully, but it looks like the Nexus core is a powerful artifact. According to this, it has the ability to alter reality itself. Maybe it's our only chance against the Voidborn. Ryan frowned. "Altering reality. That sounds risky. We could end up causing more harm than good." "We don't have a choice," Alex replied firmly. "If the Voidborn reach Earth, billions will die. We have to take the risk." Just then, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared, and red lights flashed throughout the chamber. "What's happening?" Sam shouted, gripping his weapon tightly. Emily checked the controls. "Something's approaching," she said, her voice tense. "Fast." Alex activated his communicator. "This is Commander Carter to the Odyssey. Do you copy?" Static crackled before a voice responded. "Commander, we've detected multiple objects entering the area. They're heading straight for your position." "The Voidborn," Emily whispered, her eyes wide with fear. "Everyone, back to the shuttle," Alex ordered. "We need to get off this ship now." The team sprinted through the corridors, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Behind them, the alien vessel groaned as if it were coming apart. When they reached the shuttle bay, they could see the incoming threat through the windows, a dark cloud of shifting shapes, moving unnaturally fast. Sam fired up the shuttle's engines while Alex helped Emily aboard. As they launched into space, the alien ship exploded in a burst of light, consumed by the Voidborn. The crew watched in stunned silence as the monstrous swarm turned its attention toward them. "We're not going to outrun them," Ryan said grimly. Alex gripped the controls of the shuttle. "Then we fight," he said. "For Earth, for humanity." And with that, the *Odyssey* crew prepared for the battle of their lives. The *Odyssey* sailed through the vast emptiness of space, its engines humming softly as it carried Alex and his crew toward the source of the mysterious message. Days passed, and the tension aboard the ship grew thicker with each passing hour. Everyone knew that what awaited them could either save humanity or destroy it. Lieutenant Emily Dawson spent most of her time in the ship's lab, surrounded by glowing screens and holographic projections. She was determined to decode more of the alien transmission. The words, "Earth is next," still echoed in her mind, but she believed there was more to the message than just a warning. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she pieced together fragments of the strange language. It was like solving a puzzle, one tiny part at a time. Dr. Ryan Mitchell often joined her in the lab, offering ideas and theories. He was fascinated by the idea of intelligent life beyond Earth, and this mission felt like the chance of a lifetime. "What if this isn't about attacking us?" he asked one day, leaning against a desk. "What if they're trying to tell us something important? Maybe they need our help." Emily paused and looked up at him. "It's possible," she said slowly, "but we can't assume anything until we know more. Every detail matters." As the days went by, Emily began to notice patterns in the alien symbols. Some of them repeated, while others seemed to form sentences. Slowly, she started to understand bits of the message. It wasn't just a simple warning. It was a story of survival, loss, and desperation. The aliens who sent it were fleeing from something far worse than themselves. One evening, as the rest of the crew rested, Emily made a breakthrough. She discovered a new section of the message that had been hidden within layers of encryption. Her heart raced as she read the translation. "Run. They are coming." The words sent a chill down her spine. Who were they? And why were the aliens so afraid? She immediately called Alex and the others to the lab. When they arrived, she showed them her findings. "This changes everything," Alex said, his voice serious. "If these aliens were running from something, then whatever is chasing them might be heading for Earth too." Corporal Sam Brooks frowned. "So we're dealing with two enemies now?" he asked. "The aliens who sent the message and whatever it is after them." "Not necessarily," Emily replied. "The message doesn't say the aliens are hostile. It says they're scared. Maybe they were trying to warn us before it was too late." Alex nodded. "We'll keep going," he decided. "We're close to the coordinates now. When we get there, we'll find answers." Finally, after weeks of travel, the *Odyssey* reached the location of the signal. What they found shocked them all. Floating in the darkness of space was an alien ship, or what was left of it. The vessel was massive, larger than anything humans had ever built, but it was clearly damaged. Pieces of it were broken, and parts of the hull were scorched as if it had been attacked. The crew stared at the sight in awe. "That thing looks ancient," Sam muttered. "How long has it been out here?" "No way to tell," Alex said, "but we need to board it. If there's any information left, it could help us figure out what's going on." The team suited up and prepared to enter the alien craft. As they floated toward it in their shuttle, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into something bigger than they could imagine. The ship's design was unlike anything they'd ever seen. Smooth, organic, almost alive. It didn't look like it was built. It looked like it had grown. Once inside, the air was cold and silent. The walls glowed faintly with an eerie light, and strange symbols covered every surface. Emily recognized some of them from the message. They were getting closer to the truth. As they explored deeper into the ship, they found signs of tragedy everywhere. Rooms were in disarray, equipment was smashed, and in one chamber, they discovered the remains of the ship's crew. The aliens were humanoid, with translucent skin and large, luminous eyes. They had died long ago, but their faces still held expressions of fear. "This wasn't an accident," Alex said quietly. "Something attacked them." Emily knelt beside one of the bodies and noticed a small device clutched in its hand. It pulsed faintly with light. Without thinking, she reached out and touched it. In an instant, images flooded her mind. Burning planets, fleeing ships, and a monstrous fleet consuming everything in its path. She gasped and fell back, clutching her head. "Emily!" Alex shouted, rushing to her side. "They weren't attacking us," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They were running." The crew exchanged worried glances. Whatever had chased these aliens across the stars was now heading toward Earth, and time was running out. In the year 2147, Earth was a planet full of life and progress. Humans had built cities on other planets and moons. They had learned to travel between stars, and their technology had grown stronger than ever before. People lived in peace, or so they thought. But one day, everything changed. Deep in space, far from Earth, a group of scientists worked on a space station called Orbit 7 *. Their job was to listen for signals from outer space. For years, they heard nothing but silence. Then, one evening, something extraordinary happened. A strange message came through their equipment. It was not in any human language, but it was clear enough to understand after some work. The message said, "Earth is next." The words sent chills down everyone's spine. No one knew what they meant, but they sounded like a warning, or maybe a threat. The team quickly sent the message to Commander Alex Carter, who was stationed aboard the starship Odyssey *. Alex was known as a calm and smart leader. He had been in charge of many missions, but this was different. This was about Earth, his home, and the lives of billions of people. Alex gathered his crew to discuss the situation. Among them was Lieutenant Emily Dawson, a young woman skilled in languages. She had studied alien scripts and codes for years, hoping to one day make contact with intelligent life. Then there was Dr. Ryan Mitchell, an astrophysicist who loved studying the mysteries of the universe. And finally, there was Corporal Sam Brooks, a tough soldier trained to protect his team at all costs. The crew sat around a table in the ship's meeting room. The air was tense as Alex explained the message. "We don't know who sent this or why," he said, his voice steady. "But we can't ignore it. If Earth is in danger, we need to find out more." Emily leaned forward, her eyes wide with curiosity. "What if it's not a threat?" she asked. "What if it's a cry for help? Maybe someone is trying to warn us about something bigger." Dr. Mitchell nodded. "That's possible," he said. "There could be forces out there beyond our understanding. We should investigate further." Sam crossed his arms, looking skeptical. "And what if it's a trap?" he asked. "What if these aliens are luring us into a fight we can't win?" Alex thought for a moment. He knew Sam had a point, but doing nothing wasn't an option either. "We'll proceed carefully," he said. "Our first step is to trace the origin of the signal. If we can find where it came from, we might learn more." The crew agreed, and they began working on tracking the source. Hours turned into days as they analyzed the data. Finally, they pinpointed the location, a distant exoplanet in the Andromeda Galaxy. It was far away, but the Odyssey was fast. With its powerful engines, they could reach the destination in weeks. As the ship set course for the unknown, the crew prepared themselves for whatever lay ahead. Alex spent hours staring out the window, watching the stars blur past. He couldn't shake the feeling that this mission would change everything, for better or worse. Emily, meanwhile, focused on decoding more of the message. She hoped to find hidden clues that might explain the sender's intentions. Every word, every symbol, felt important. She knew that understanding the message fully could mean the difference between life and death for humanity. Back on Earth, people went about their daily lives, unaware of the potential danger looming in the distance. Children played in parks, families shared meals, and cities buzzed with activity. For now, Earth was safe. But Alex and his crew carried the weight of the world on their shoulders. They were the only ones who knew what might be coming, and they were determined to stop it. The journey ahead would test their courage, their skills, and their unity. But for now, all they could do was move forward, one step at a time, toward the mystery waiting among the stars.